Andrew WK, God is Partying album review. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning here tonight to chat about this latest album from Mr. Andrew WK, Michigan-based singer, songwriter, producer, motivational speaker. In the early 2000s, he released one of my generation's most beloved cult classics, I Get Wet. This is a sweaty, all-out party hard rock album. And yes, the songwriting on this album is often one-dimensional, and the song topics even more so, but my god is it ever a freaking blast. And ever since, I've been trying to recapture that feeling between me and Andrew's music, but it's been tough to say the least. It's not like albums like The Wolf and Close Calls with Brick Walls don't have great singles. They most certainly do. But as a whole, I never really connected with either one of these projects. However, You're Not Alone, his last studio album, I thought was a really good return to form for him. Yes, a lot of these spoken word instrumentals and interludes here were not necessary. However, I thought Andrew hunkered down and gave us a really positive, good vibes, hard rock record with some of his best singles in over 10 years. Which leads me to these new singles. And I had a bad feeling about this album leading into it because a lot of the singles just rubbed me the wrong way and confused the hell out of me. And I will say this, early on in the album, Andrew actually brings a slew of tracks that are some pretty decent ones. Babalon might be the best track here. This is just a straightforward ripper from Andrew WK. Now, newsflash, this is a very visual, very spiritual album with a lot of themes delving into religion. This track is no different. But for the moment, Andrew's ridiculously over-the-top performances actually make it work pretty great. And No One to Know is just so Andrew WK. It's one of the more ballad tracks here. It's slow, it's intense, and his heartfelt performance sells it. And let me tell you, spoiler alert, this album's narrative is pretty out there and pretty hard to follow at times. As a matter of fact, I'll go out and say it, I think there were more coherent thoughts on the new Kanye. But for the moment, this track is pretty straightforward. And it's just so emotional, so riveting. This overall would be a great direction for Andrew. And for a track that's a little bit out of the box, I still think that Stay True to Your Heart actually is a knockout. Once again, this is a straightforward ballad, more so than I expected to hear. But his tender, emotional performance sells it, and every time this big, gigantic chorus rolls around, I can't help but belt it out. This is a great track. But what is going on with the direction of this album? This is a very strange direction for Andrew WK. Everyone Sins, this album's opener. I haven't been into this since it dropped. Now, there are moments of this track that I actually really appreciate, mostly those gigantic synths and that thunderous riff. And the choir vocals that pop in eventually, hell yeah, that's cool. Lyrically, where are we going? What is this? There was such a simplicity to his last album, good vibes and big riffs. But here, some of the lyrical themes, sins, cliches, I'm lost. I wish I got this, but I just don't. And the award for the most obnoxious and awfully placed interlude of the year goes to God is Partying. Since it dropped, I haven't been that into I'm in Heaven either. I remember years ago, people giving I Get Wet a lot of trash, a lot of garbage about being underwritten. Have you heard this? This isn't heaven, this track is hell. And it's a shame because a lot of this album, while it's not for me, I could definitely feel that, it means a lot to Andrew. His heartfelt performances, more than often, his heart is in the right place. Like, Remember Your Oath is absolutely emotional. But this is so drawn out and so overblown. Even if you look into some of his interviews beyond the themes of this album, I found them hard to comprehend. For me, I'm let down by this in a big way. By the time we get to My Tower, let me just point out how long this album is. I mean, it's only about 48 minutes, but it feels so much longer, mostly because so many tracks here push the 6-minute mark. Why? I actually think that My Tower isn't the most convoluted track here, but it's just so sluggish, so low energy, and these weird cosmic instrumentals coming in. I can understand if you're into this, but it's just not for me. By the time we get to "And Then We Blew Apart," I am starving for just a good riff. Even a coherent thought, or a track that I felt like was wrote comprehensively from start to finish. I don't know if it's the length of some of these tracks here, or just how let down I am, but this album feels so much longer than it does. And it's not like the spiritual themes are rubbing me the wrong way. I mean, go listen to my Kanye review. Some of the best moments on that album were some of the more spiritual ones. I mean, even more frustratingly is the finale of this album, because I think Andrew brings to the table some of the best tracks here. I Made It is a fantastic late album treat. I mean, I may be simping out here, but just hearing some energy, some oomph in Andrew WK and his trademark piano excites the hell out of me here. Not only that, but we're getting some coherent thoughts. Not only that, but it's so anthemic. It just is such a nice detour from what we've been getting for so much of this album. If we got more of this, we wouldn't be here in the boat that we're in. And not anymore. As a finale, it might be the best track here. And it's so simple. It's such an obvious formula. This is one that we all know that Andrew WK can sound great with. It's triumphant. It's full of life. It's wrote well. Where was this? This album is infuriating. I mean, yeah, there's a handful of great tracks here, but a lot of the detours, a lot of Andrew's thoughts on this album, just compared to where he was a couple of years ago, just seems so muffled. The drawn out tracks, the low energy. This is not what I come to Andrew WK for at all. I mean, you might be into this, but I certainly am not. I'm feeling a strong 4 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.